You are listening to the Joe Mars Podcast, a podcast inspired by musical creatives from and within Zimbabwe, Africa, and the world who are making an impact and pursuing their passions. My name is Joseph Maramba, and I'm a radio host best known for shows on Capital FM, Power FM, and Sport FM radio. And I'm sitting down with creatives to learn more on their story and how they are making an impact with every single production. Hey guys, and welcome to the Joe Mars Podcast. My name is Joe, and we gotta get a few things out of the way. First and foremostly, this podcast was supposed to come on a Monday, but I had my family visiting, I had family traveling, everything was just chaotic as it comes to personal life. So, you put that out of the way, which is the podcast, and then you focus on that. You don't want to be seen as the person who doesn't want to support family, right? So we all do that. Family is important. Blood is important. So to just get a few things out of the way, that's the first and foremost reason. I want to apologize for everybody who was looking forward to the to the podcast on a Monday, but here we are. It is 2 days after, and yes, we are producing the podcast. So thank you for the wait. The first and foremost thing that I want to just get out of the way out there is for all those fans that love Francis Ngannou, all those fans that love Tyson Fury. You will know and you will agree with me that Francis Ngannou won that match against Tyson Fury. He did it. Everybody knows it. YouTube knows it. You know it. The world knows it. And here we are sitting with a champion who didn't win. It's so weird, but I just thought I would say that out of the context of being a boxing lover, because I grew up with my dad and we used to watch a lot of tape on Mike Tyson, the one who was now coaching Francis Ngannou. Not that I wanted really Francis Ngannou to win, because Tyson Fury is not a good boxer. I actually wanted Tyson Fury to show me if he really is a good boxer. That's what I wanted him to do. It was simple. Just go in the match with Ngannou, show us what you're made of, show us your mentor. And like I've always been saying to a lot of people, Tyson Fury is not the heavyweight boxing champion of the caliber that I grew up watching. Evander Holyfield, respect that man so much. As much as I loved dearly Mike Tyson, but he showed Mike Tyson who he really is. Mike Tyson had a tough time with Evander Holyfield. Do you know what I'm saying? If you talk of the Lennox Lewises of this world, if you talk of Muhammad Ali, they put in the graft and they showed us what it really means to be a heavyweight boxer, and a heavyweight boxing champion at that matter. And a lot of people will probably be dilly-dallying around this issue. Some people will probably take it as he won, right? But we are there to critically analyze what happened. And I watched that match, guys. I'm telling you, there was nothing as frustrating at the end of that match to hear that Tyson Fury won. I have nothing. No personal whatever about with Tyson Fury. I mean, hell, he doesn't even know me. He doesn't even know that this podcast exists. But the point is, a winner is supposed to be declared by virtue of, the effort that he has put and the points that he has garnered. I don't think those judges made the right call. I don't think they did. That's to be honest. I just don't think they made the right call. I don't know. I think they were biased. And my one and only friend, not that I have one friend, but one friend from my list of long friends, is the only person who's adamant that, Tyson Fury won that match. Because what he says, well, it was political in one way or the other, and it had to be set up in that manner because Tyson Fury has to fight Bani at a later stage in life. No, the guy is bit, he's bit. Let's have a new boxing world champion, regardless of the fact that this guy is new to boxing. And that was the whole conversation before this Tyson Fury Francis Ngannou match started. A lot of people, he technique in boxing. He's not gonna be as good as Tyson Fury, or Tyson Fury is a point, just scores points and stuff like that. Nah, that's all rubbish, guys. Let's look at boxing as boxing. Who was the better man on the night, right? And to protect this whole image of boxing and the future of boxing, blah, 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 Francis Ngannou was still just going to defend that belt if he had won it. So I'm so eagerly waiting for the second match of this Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou. And I believe that the next time Francis Ngannou is coming out there, all guns blazing, he has had a feel of what the boxing ring brings with it. He has had a feel of fighting at the top level of boxing, though his opponent is not the caliber of heavyweight boxers that I would love to see in the world, and I bet you the second time when this happens, or even the third time, Francis Ngannou is going to drop Tyson Fury, and he will not wake up. That's what I'm promising you. A lot of people will have, but you know what? Respond. Let's hear what you've got to say. But I feel that story was, the ending was wrong. Was wrong. Okay, we're gonna move on to another part of the entertainment world that I really love, which is soccer. Lionel Messi picked up his 8th Ballon d'Or, and Lionel Messi haters will say he doesn't deserve it. There will be a lot, but you know what? I think this story is old, and this hatred is very much old. Haters who hate and stuff like that. But no, come on. There's time when you have to appreciate. And I'm talking to all the Lionel Messi haters out there. And I was caught in some sort of conundrum, or you can say a rock and a hard place, where Lionel Messi, I love him to bits. And then there is this star, this rising star, this scorer of magnificent proportions, Erling Harland, from my beloved blue Manchester City, right? This guy was there also in contention. And of course, I love Kylian Mbappe. Who doesn't love Mbappe? You know what I mean? But between these two, I knew any one of these people are just going to make my night, But for the first time in this award ceremony, I was caught in between. Most of the times when Messi is up against Cristiano Ronaldo or Kylian Mbappe, I'll probably just be like, nah, that's not even a debate. But for now, I was critically looking at what Erling Harland has done and what he critically did for Manchester City, and I was torn in between. I really was torn in between. I just didn't know whether I wanted Erling Harland to win, but he was going up against the GOAT. I mean, come on. He is the greatest of all time, Lionel Messi. Now there is not even a debate, and I think that debate is now redundant. A lot of people will go through this debate is probably just to push time. 8 Ballon d'Ors, 1 World Cup win, and look at what he's done to American football. Look at it. It's amazing. So you can talk all you want, and all the haters of Lionel Messi will probably come here and say, oh, if you do blah, 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 and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, it was what it is. Erling Harland and Lionel Messi, those two were supposed to pick it up. Any of the two or any other, I was probably just going to be pissed the whole weekend. I'm happy for Erling Harland because he picked up that Gerd Muller trophy. Okay, that means he got something out of it. It is such a big thing for him, and to be just recognized by this Ballon d'Or award ceremony and all of these journalists and all of these judges that come through and pick, the footballers of the world, it's something really great for him. And I know he's going to pick it up sooner or later. He's going to pick up a Ballon d'Or, and it will be counting one. We'll be counting one soon. Also happy for my Manchester team, Manchester City. I'm so happy for Manchester City for being the team of the year. Come on now, guys, give it up. Give it up for Manchester City. There is no team like City right now in the world, and I promise you they're going to pick up more and more items as the seasons progress. And of course, if they continue along the long path that they have been with Pep Guardiola, I promise you this is going to be something to always cherish as a Manchester City fan. Okay, all the haters hate as much as you want, but this is our time. This is really our time. We're going to come back home now. And this is something that also really got to me. It was mind-blowing just to see these comments. It was mind-blowing just to see how much of this, this post that I'm going to be talking about just reverberated, and ripples that were sent across the entire Zimbabwe and Zimbabwean music fan base, wherever you are, South Africa, Canada, America, it doesn't matter. But it also just goes to show that the individual that we're going to be talking about, or the comment that and the post that he made, is very much beloved in the country. And he split Zimbabwean music like this into two. He literally did, with just one post. And there were some saying yay and some saying nay. For now, I'll for now, I will just go through with my commentary, and I'll let you know at the end what I feel about this comment. So I'm talking about none other than Jah Prayzah, okay? He sent out a post on social media saying, to all my fans, okay, all my fans are free to use their cell phones to take memories of themselves and my performance. However, kanawauya near professional, in big bold letters, professional camera to rato drama. Content is money. Again, in big bold letters, pay first, exclamation mark. Promoters, when you book for my service, please keep this in mind. You know what? To be honest, when I first saw this post in Indakatongoti, but my mind was like, something has happened. There's got to be something that has happened for him to, because we all know, as far as I know, Jah is not a provocative kind of artist. He's not out there to hurt nobody. He's not out there to look for and stuff like that, but that's as far as I know, right? He's probably kept his brand and his image well polished to some extent. Saka andarumbo fungidzira kuti he's just out there to get somebody or whatever it is, or kungotaura zvenhando. Ndakatongofunga that there's something that has happened, and indeed, I know for a fact something happened. But when I saw this post, I post on DJ Boom Bang, right? Where do DJ, right? And it got tongues wagging on that post itself. But I'm probably going to open a can of worms on this one, because I am a little bit, I know where I stand, but I just don't want anybody to just misconstrue me, because I did send a text. I sent my own reply there, right? And I even went on to Jah Prayzah's post itself, the original post, and I said something. And some people were like, totally didn't get me. Somewhat, how social media is. But I thought I would address this and in some way or the other, just have this as the main topic of the podcast today. So this is not going to be long. This podcast is not going to be long, but I thought I would really love to have this conversation with all of you. First and foremostly, we need to first understand what fans are. Fans come in the form of a mere individual and organizations as well, such as the media. So the media has the prerogative to go out there to report and to mirror what society is all about, what society is. That's the role of the media. So if people go to a specific event, media is there to cover the excitement and the reason as to why people gather, right? It's there to report, okay? It's there to understand why society is in love with the specific aspect of society. It could be music, it could be art, it could be swimming, it could be sport like basketball or football, right? So media is a fan of anything that the society is a fan of, right? So when I saw this post, I was just like, somebody provoked Jah. But at the same time, I felt like it had deep connotations which I now have to clear in my own way and understanding. Believe you me, I am no way like hop watching on or big up there as a media journalist, but I believe like my experience counts for something, and I understand what this means to Jah, and I also understand what this means for professional media outlets or personnel. Okay, so I'm a bit in between there. So media can do this for two reasons. A professional media outlet or professional media or professional freelance journalist. Like I'm a freelance journalist. I can take my camera anywhere. I can film wherever I want to film. But there are repercussions to this. Okay. I'm not just going to film and not and put it out there to the world for the world to see, just because I can do it. No. I do it because I want to show the world what's happening within my community. So if there's a gas explosion, right, I want to show the world what's happening there. If there is a music festival, I want to show the world what's happening there. I am reporting what is happening in my community. So being in media, we do carry around professional cameras, and we do that. That is what we are taught to do. We buy state-of-the-art cameras. We buy professional cameras. We take them out there when we are going out. We're not going to probably do it when we're going out with our family and friends, but sometimes we do. But when okay, I want to attend this event and I want to capture a few images and stuff like that, and I want to show the world what's happening in Chitungwi's aquatic complex. That's what we do. We will carry around that professional camera. Now, to be clear, what is wrong is me going out there filming an entire Jah Prayzah footage and coming back and packaging it as if ndavumirana na Jah Prayzah and then putting it out there on YouTube or selling it out there to somebody else. That is entirely wrong. Okay? That said, Team Raja rinofanirwa futhi kunge rakarongeka to an extent yekuti if they pick up that Joe has done something like that, they must be able to say, Ko Rasta, Mukuz Famsa say, take me to court, incriminate me, or whatever it is, right? Exactly, because there would be one or two people out there that would not know the infringements that were doing. Kana wakawaka shooter ja event yake yese I poster online. So if those people don't know, what did they say, wafundi say, take them to court. The court is is on your side because you are the owners of the content. Do you know what I mean? But to completely shut all professional cameras away from your events, Ipapo, I don't think it's a good idea. So, like I said, this could be for record's sake, and it also could be for even news sake, because kanatawa right chidogo report oti janga kwa aquatic complex. How are we going to do that? Kana tisina ku record footage in 4K in 1080p dzacho dzinodiwa nema news media outlets atinosenzera, or even a quality yekuti vanhu vanofara kana vachiona, whether it's being on TV or it's on an online media platform, whatever it is. How are we going to do that? You know what I'm saying? So I felt like it sort of, after I really read the post, I felt like there was a lot of things there that probably were amiss from Jah Prayzah's team, and I thought I would sort of try and clarify it from a media perspective, if you know what I mean. Because professional, I guess, what emboldens you. The guy owner is a big camera, professional camera, media professional, and professions from the media outlet. Because Van Jah Prayzah will not carry around a Canon C100 Mark II. They will not carry around a Panasonic 4K broadcasting equipment and stuff like that. They will not do that. And stuff like that. But some media will pay for a ticket or even just come in as media accredited journalists, and they would want to get bits and pieces of what's happening at that show. And that's very, very important. So regardless of the media outlet, whether big or small, media needs to do this. And artists, you need to provide this opportunity. That's what I feel. You need to provide this opportunity for people to see your brand, and in areas, and for it to reach in areas that you don't even know might even exist, because that's the power of media. That one single clip here, 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 3 minutes, Jah Prayzah perform kwakati, right, will reach parts and parts of the world that you might not even know exist, that you might not even have an opportunity to go and perform. But guess what it will do for you, for your brand? Publicize your brand, make your brand even bigger, and in actual fact, it can even bring you money in terms of viewers. YouTube, by Instagram, by Facebook, by chi. Do you understand? So answer this question as an artist. I'm not only just addressing this to Jah Prayzah. I love Jah Prayzah. I listen to his music. I dance to it. Me and my wife dance to it. But if you ask the question, how is the media going to report about your show, Yamaita, over the weekend? How are they going to capture your activity in life if you ban them from bringing their professional cameras? Do you know what I mean? It could be something that you can discuss with the media, something that you can say, okay, so I know professional cameras are, guys, you know what, after this, shiane footage, shoot say, or we allow a specific amount of time for you to record, but not the entire show, because you know what, you could be going to resell and stuff like that. But mazira angu ni media in Zimbabwe, right? No one would just do that just to go and get money from your performance. Ndo mazira angu andoita. So I thought like restricting professional cameras is restricting the whole professional body in the media, who are professionals, who are supposed to love you and have a relationship with your brand. That's what I felt. Using cell phones is just not going to cut it. Even chiro pama comments eshakataurika online, a lot of people will all actually say, oh, you know what, to cell phones to content it's not. Yes, cell phones can be used in situations where with pampas turina a professional camera to take and to gather this news. Do you know what I mean? One of those news and media outlets have used cell phones before, and they can be used all over the world in actual fact as a way of reporting and as a means of reporting events that are happening. But restricting professional cameras, I feel like it's just it's bringing out the wrong kind of message, and I just don't know how you could have said it, but I just felt like it sort of didn't come out right. Okay. Again, I'll say and reiterate that the unprofessional way is obviously to film content for the purposes of making money, which I've said I condone, and I'm of the opinion that all media personnel in Zimbabwe know about these rights and the right to publication and the right to content and its publication. Because I was trained in Zimbabwe. So no, and content, and Twitter say don't poster up. The other thing that I wanted us to zero in on is defining what a professional camera is. What is a professional camera? How do we define it? We define professional camera. If we define professional footage and the mining of content for resale, before we know it, take it out on pinda large personal camera musho mabounce octotimpa ingaisari. You understand? If we can just start, and if we could just start there to say, what is a professional camera? Right? I am of the opinion that I make a camera professional. And of course, there are professional cameras. Katunzi, this is a professional broadcasting camera. As in 5 out of 10 or more, I started on camera and I got into shoot footage. Ndakupa yacho yakanzi professional camera. None of you are going to use it. I have a simple basic camera that I use in the house that I'm using right now. It's got a C100 Mark II. Like, my family members, camera you shoot, they cannot tell from left to right, bottom and up. Although it's a professional camera. Do you know what I mean? And it's smaller than the ones that you see out there. Even though it has red buttons and you can tell, okay, I'm going to record and stuff like that, you would probably have a tough time making that professional camera professional. So the professional has to be the one who's behind the camera. So most of the cameras are made with the professional person in mind. How do we want to shoot? What do we want to shoot? So to shoot a slow-mo yeku cricket. So let's create a camera that can allow a professional camera person to shoot the slow motion of a specific event within a cricket match. Because so if we slow it down, so our cameras at now are not able to do this. So let's create a camera that can provide slow-mo for us. A slow-mo camera, it's a professional camera person. From the street is a person who already knows cameras, who already knows how to film footage. So the professional, when you said professional, when Jah Prayzah said professional in his post there, I read it as professional camera person, professional media person, media. That's what I was screaming in my mind. Do you understand? So the same manner that professional camera but a slow-mo camera is the same way that that camera person can hold an iPhone Pro 13 or 15 Max or whatever it's a very good footage ne camera ye pa cell phone. Izotozidza futhi sema journalist, right? We learn these things every now and then. There is cell phone photography. There is what do you call it? Content creation using cell phones. An entire event ye Apple, but you put some gadgets and the new latest things like this was filmed on a cell phone and broadcast to the entire world. iPhone Pro chakadaro is 13 and 15 and this and namari kutenga, but it was filmed on a cell phone just to show people it can be done, and it still can be done. Saka you know, so what my professional camera amadi rato drama and stuff like that. Tongo yaga my iPhone 13. My professional was ajo anongo any slightly smaller camera ya go to your cell phone, and they can still mine content from you. So you see where the issue is now, where unogona to restrict my big cameras. My bounce Zimbabwe, but which don't pin a paper of the is a spin but do as long as a tripod stand yangu, do is a cell phone iPhone Pro 13 kaya kanaka Max ameno, no kadzikap kana Samsung kana Huawei, no that's no kadzikaba, can do any jibrangu, ishtofamba, is very stable and stuff like that. I could create content that even your team would marvel at, and there people will be like, so you know, so Arambits are big cameras. What about the smaller ones that are still bringing out, the material from you? Excuse me. So I think also we needed to, and before that post was sent, Team Jah Prayzah, whoever is running his media, needed to really think of a way of bringing it out. I think there was a heavy reliance on emotion or feeling or whatever, and a heavy disregard of the way and the way it's going to come out to people out there. So those are don't professional cameras is nothing to talk of in this era. Excuse me. It is not only a thing that can. It is not the only thing that can capture content. My big professional cameras. I'm moving to the know it's what drama. My movies have been shot with phones, guys. So that again is it's something that you needed to think of before you send that post. My GoPro camera, I'm not here, and I'm going to mount kwa motkari. Wana Jeremy Clarkson, wanita na Top Gear, wanita na, Top Gear, but he was once president of Top Gear. My GoPro anongo buda, aninga ushtoa ona ushtoita my shoot. Small cameras like this. Ngweswa pa pocket ava, ngu mount kwa motkari. So to peresh, tatone footage, 4K foot pamsoro pasu. Isusu mazuombe ma 1080p nemachichi achirambidzwa pado patumbengi ndendine ma 4K yangu phone zvese nema GoPro. So I thought like, I strongly felt like that message was at the end of the day, I strongly felt that I think I know yasobuda swakanaka, right? Just saying my professional camera and stuff like opens a whole a large hole in which fans now can actually say, oh, I'm a professional camera zairazi arambidzwa isarazi takongopinda nema phone head, and we can mine footage, mbava. That's why I'm emphasizing on the fact here, the media team here, Jah, needs to sort its and put its house in order to curb vanonotengesa content here, Jah, whether past street or online. Do you know what I mean? Whether past street or online. They need to curb this. They need to fight hard for this, and also use and bring in authorities zemu Zimbabwe. Kutichi aiwa vanhu vari kuba content yedu either vari kuisa pa street kana vari kuirakidza pa YouTube and stuff like that. We need a stronger law. Have your lawmakers involved, because it's there. Infringement your content is there. Kubira munhu IP, it's really more laws edu, and you can take someone to court for that. So these are things that you need to work on. I would rather see you working for that as Jah Prayzah, as a person who almost leads the entire music scene in Zimbabwe, right? I felt that was petty. I'm a professional car and stuff like that. It needs to be something bigger than that, Make it something bigger. That's how I feel, where the whole of Zimbabwe is now concerned, and my lawmakers are also looking at it, and then they can pass on my laws are not restrictive from mining content isiriavo, and also what mining isiriavo, and also distributing it. On the flip side, I decided let's look at what Jah Prayzah has done with his sort of social media content and stuff like that. And I was actually surprised, because I went on this whole investigative route, and my mind was just thinking, okay, let's see what's happening out there. Okay, I went on to his YouTube account, where I thought most of his content would be sold or repossessed, for profit. We all know YouTube pays you content yakaonekwa and stuff like that. And I was surprised that he has one full video at the Dubai Expo in 2020. One full video, which I probably think the Dubai Expo team did for him. It's not his media team shooting that. Okay. And I strongly felt like his media team is doing exactly what a fan would do when they go out there with their phone, or Jah Prayzah, film or 1 minute, 2 minutes, posting at most 30 minutes video, the longest that they have posted, other than that, Dubai Expo 2020, is my 30 minutes or less, my live shows, not my events, 30 minutes or less, he has no live videos. My shorts, my YouTube shorts, Ashandisi, and this is what really surprised me. For Jah Prayzah, I actually felt like 635,000 followers is very, very little. You'd say, oh, how would one get 635? I mean, this is Jah Prayzah. Jah Prayzah. He has won awards in Zimbabwe regionally, right? And he has done collaborations with Nana Diamond Platinums, who have something like 8.5 million followers on his YouTube. So something was not tallying. Something was not making sense, right? He can get something like 6 million views on a particular video post, maybe patati patata or whatever it is, diamond, platinum, so whoever it is that he's singing with. But to have 635,000 followers, I feel like that's a very small number. That is a very small number. On Facebook, there's really nothing to speak of in terms of creating content that can push his brand further, than on live shows and musical videos. I then did a comparison, right? Like Diamond Platinum's or Nambo Taura, who employs the same method Jaya Anoshanso Yogisa to my small videos by YouTube I should say but he does very well by YouTube in producing my YouTube shots, which directly affects the numbers that you can pull up on your channel and indirectly your revenue. So my YouTube shorts, they're smaller versions of my YouTube videos. So even though Diamond Platinum doesn't have a lot of my full videos, I got my shows wherever he goes, breaking or wherever it is, he's using those YouTube shorts to constantly keep his fans on the line, watching more and more content from Diamond Platinums. And it just got to me. Jah is a baby when it comes to social media. Jah is a baby to the marketing and the media aspect of his brand, right? He probably could not or is not earning enough from his social media than what he's supposed to be, right? That could be the reason why he's crying for content. Could be the reason why he doesn't want people to shoot content, because he's feeling like, okay, if you shoot my content, then if you post it, then it's just not your poster, and then now we are fighting over viewers, and those viewers could be going to me and stuff like that. But I think in one package, we need to look at the media team. We need to look at what the people are doing with Jah's footage, which I say is wrong if you're shooting and just not doing it for you to gain followers and to gain likes and to gain money. It's wrong. I condone it. But on the other side, we need to look at what Jah is actually doing with his team, right? Almost all of his content that is on YouTube Shorts has been produced by everybody else other than Jah Prayzah's media team. So my shorts is include when about my YouTube shorts to my smaller versions to my YouTube films wakati tarisa toka wanda toka producer na mwana na feli nandi wananinga who are featuring Jah Prayzah, but Jah Prayzah himself, I probably think he has one YouTube shorts or something like that, only one. And this is Jah Prayzah, what the high up the artist of the times, Zimbabwe, amongst maybe a few like Winky D. We're not about that right now. Okay, so I think Jah Prayzah should not be having less than 1 million followers on YouTube. It's just Instagram. He should be having more than 1 million. How many people are in Zimbabwe? The only social page that he has, which has more than 1 million people, is Facebook, where he has 1.3 million. And on Twitter, he has 336. We all know Twitter is a little bit different. But when it comes to content, Instagram, your Facebook, your YouTube, right? TikTok are the places to be. But he's not having a large followership. Irikuendrana ne kukura kwa akaita as a music artist in Zimbabwe. That is my personal opinion. And a person who works in social media, with media and stuff, a multimedia journalist, I understand the importance of social media. I understand the importance of earning and producing your content and keeping it out there. There's been a lot of debate. Who do you call the hip-hop mogul, Jay-Z, refusing to be on specific social media platforms because he feels like he's kudza brand iroro more than my songs are I don't need the Grammys, but you need me. But when you talk of artists such as Jah Prayzah, who are still to penetrate the European market. And I'm saying, can I see the European market? Ndikutaura zvekuti kwete kunoimbira maZimbabweans ari kuEurope. Ndikutaura zvekupinda mumabillboard charts, ndikutaura zvekutozivikanwa kunzi anogona kuuya kuzotiimbirawo paBallon d'Or like Rema. Like, you know what I'm saying? Ndozva tiri kutaura. Your brand is still growing to that level. I feel like you need to be on each and every platform, and you need to have all of your content on each and all of those platforms, and you need to do it to such an extent that everybody notices you and understands you. I'll give you examples, Pambirap, and I hope my line of thought will not evaporate. But I just felt like Zim artists, and now I'm speaking in general, are not exposing their art and music to the world to that extent. People, restricting it to people who pay for tickets. Where we start restricting our art and our music to people who have only paid for a ticket. Go out there, meet with journalists, accept invitations for podcasts, accept radio interviews, go out there on tours. Ice Cube, Ice Cube, he was performing this, he was promoting this basketball tournament that he's got. He went on a podcast tour. He went on a podcast tour to say, Joe Rogan, my podcast, my radio interviews, and at the breakfast show and stuff like that. He went on to promote. He doesn't need to. He has followers far more bigger than and far more than maybe Jah Prayzah. You could probably just use this Instagram to say, okay, guys, in Indonesia, so no. But he understands the importance of media. If you're okay, then collecting your own content and say, okay, content ndeyangu nchazoishandisa. What uchazoishandisa papi? People like Jay-Z have an exhibition yake of the life and times of Jay-Z. My albums ake footage of all his Glastonbury concerts. Nanchumona interview na this lady on CBS. So these are things that you need to put into consideration when you're an artist. Am I just doing this because Maria Nasi, Chingo and stuff like that? Or I want to grow my brand to an extent, Boy and stuff like that. Guys, some people are winning Grammys. Some people are being recognized out there because their work goes beyond just being on stage per aquatic complex. Kana zvizo zvaurungoda hazo kana kuti kungoita inonzi a show pa a small festival muZimbabwe. Kana zvizo zvaurungoda, of course, I'm not going to force you, but there are things that you need to really start considering if you are going to grow. And probably this what you call it, this podcast might be teaching you something. But okay, there are certain things that I think we can improve. And then when you improve on those things, you can make your career and even your brand much, much bigger. So to make the money, you need to make the effort. You need to put the effort out there. Employ a media team that you can even pay a retainer. Guys, every time I'm doing a show, maybe so this is how much you are talking. People would love to cover you, Jah, like especially as Jah Prayzah. A media team, with its sort would love to have you because they know kuti papa sivira representing a big brand. Have people come through and film you because your life and your story, your opinion will go at one time when you're probably performing less and stuff like that. That is what we are lacking. There's less footage of all the artists out there that we're performing since time immemorial because of such a mindset. And we need to change that. We need to change that. You need to have one day an exhibition of your art and of yourself as a person tangira up to and people would be like, yo, you know, I have an understanding of Jah Prayzah's life. I have an understanding of Winky D's life. I'm not only addressing Jah Prayzah, and that, like I said, I don't have a problem with Jah. I love him. I see we need to start having these conversations as artists, right? When you're trying to push your brand to the world, expose it as much as you can. Chimurenga music or music or even Zimbabwean dance or I've heard and I've seen and I've listened to far less praises from the outside world than we are supposed to actually be getting. Musuno, I think I was listening to this other Jamaican auntie noise yacho awandiza dore nyaravarwa. Just the other day I was listening to I think there was praises for Natty O by this Jamaican artist, and I loved it, and I was like, okay, Natty O is being recognized there, you know what I mean? And then the other days where I saw the praises for Holy 10 by Cassper Nyovest, because Cassper Nyovest came to Zimbabwe. You see the difference? Now, Cassper Nyovest was in Zimbabwe, and then he realized, oh, there's actually a good hip-hop movement in Zimbabwe. When in actual fact, we as artists and the media in Zimbabwe are supposed to push this brand further away from Zimbabwe. Look, if you're an artist, you need to be thinking about the people that are not within your area, or your area of influence, which is Harare, Zimbabwe, Masvingo, Kweru, Bulawayo. You need to be thinking far beyond. How do I get my music to be listened to by someone who is not Zimbabwean, but who is British, who's a New Zealander, who's an Australian, and I appreciate? How do I get it there? Because Cassper Nyovest of all these years, like the interview, I don't deny it, because Cassper was like, oh, who is that? We met this other guy in Zambia or Zimbabwe. His name is what? Oh, he's fire. Who's that? He's like Holy 10. Adorpa Radio, Prayzah Holy 10. But that's only after Cassper has gone in to Zimbabwe. Do you know what I mean? So there's a difference. But we get exposed to Amapiano in Zimbabwe. Majority of people are exposed to Amapiano. Vasina kana kutombosvika muJoburg macho, muSoweto macho, Cape Town macho. We have been exposed to Brooklyn, to New York, to hip hop. We have been exposed to all these other musical genres and these artists and these and all these good things. So we should be taking the very same mindset and flipping it. How do we get there? Before they start coming and looking for us, oh no, because there's a hip-hop movement, there is a cultural movement, Chimurenga music, whatever it is, or Sungura, or Zim dance, or Iriko, and we need to start collaborating more and more with these people. Good example is Amapiano, guys. You can go on YouTube and watch Amapiano shows that happen all around the world. EDM, Black Coffee. He's online. You can watch whatever, like not whatever, but you can watch a lot of content from Black Coffee. Major League DJs, they release 1 hour, 2 hour long videos of them just mixing. You know, now it's big movements. And guess what it's doing for them? So you know, content yangu vanhu vaona ndo mixa sei nekuzoita sei pa stage and stuff like that. That's neither here nor there. That's small money. That's change. Chavari kuda ndechoti ndoda unoridza kuIbiza kunoridzira na Black Coffee. Major League DJs wants to play and to mix their Amapiano vari kuAmerica kune mari chako. That's where their what you call it, their intention. That's where their intentions are. So if their intentions are there, the local market will sort itself out. They don't need to worry about the local market. They've made it here. They've played in clubs and stuff like that, right? Same thing. Jah has made it in Zimbabwe. He plays anywhere, wherever he plays. But now, guys, we need to start changing the conversation to how do we get the Grammy nomination, like Uncle Waffles just recently got a Grammy nomination. How do we get there? How do we get our music to that extent? You know, we need to create movements more than just my fans in Zimbabwe and my fans, my Zimbabweans are all over the world. No, we need to create a bigger movement where people can be like, oh, don't tell me about Zim Dance is the best thing ever, you know, or whatever it is. Let's call it something, and the name as well just doesn't cut with me. But anyway, I'm sure you get my point. Amapiano, pasina izozo zokuzvimaketa nekuti asese, how were they ever going to get themselves to Ibiza? How were they ever going? Of course, Black Coffee was pushing the culture wherever he is and inviting DJs to play there. But just to think of all the things that Black Coffee has done in the music industry in South Africa is probably paving the way for all the things that will ever come from South Africa, including Amapiano, because he's out there and representing from where he comes from. We need to start doing the same thing. Black Coffee has like 16 DJ mixes on YouTube. You don't hear him crying about people taking professional videos and whatever it is, because he puts it there. So he's got his team filming. So like, in as a professional a media person, nango shika pa event nakaona okay pane ma professional cameras are ready ka download para nda chance kapana munhu zvake zviri sorted is. There's no way in pancha shooter and my footage is gonna be better than 3, 4, 5 angles. There's no way. Ulakabata one so uchifamba uchidai uchimbotumwane ningirini ayo kana tiri kutaura zvekuti team yako rakaseta media and vari kutora footage yako for professional use pamberi apa macameras avanenge ari connected to the mixer, sound iri kunyatsobuda from from my cables ari kubva from the mixer. It's pure, it's nice, it's well balanced, right? You can never argue and you can never have the very same audio and stuff like that with just someone angopindo muningirini achingozviti angotora footage ya Jah Prayzah. If you are there and if you are doing it for the purposes of pushing your brand, pushing your culture, pushing your movement, and you will be seen by a lot of people out there. There are people that probably just scroll on YouTube and find out, you know. And who is this artist? Akaimba na Diamond, akaimba na Malaika, Mafiki Solo, and stuff like that. You know, what does he do? I want to find out more. I want to find out exactly how I can bring him to my festival in New Zealand. I want to, you know, saka takenda pa YouTube, takenda pai, takano shaya kana pa tunotu up and deep up. Or because you cannot be convinced by one. We need to be convinced by. Black Coffee and 16 my DJ mixes again, and again so very good playlist rakazara, you know. So I actually don't know that this is a thing that Jah Prayzah and his team actually started doing just now. You don't know my professional cameras, you know. I'm told they're doing it in each and every show, but it's only when I saw a journalist colleague of mine also posting it on social media, that's when I realized, okay, this thing is actually true and it's actually big, you know. Not that I didn't think it was true when Jah posted it, but I felt like, oh, now you know, like wait manje ndaunyatsochinzwa kuti zvi zvakafamba, because esa anga ari yese ikati angoona post ya Jah and people commenting and stuff like that, but tanzikanyazvozoti zviri kutangira papi, you know. So a good friend of mine anga ari ku Aquatic Complex, he shot fairly Nandi, he shot Holy Ten, and Enzo Aisha. But when it came to Jah Prayzah, it was no filming time for him. It was no filming time for him. So I saw his post and I quickly rushed out to reach out to him. His name is Simbarashe Mushunje, and I have him on the line. And he has his own media business called Loud 5 actually. And he's a journalist. He has done and filmed interviews and artists on Power FM, Capital FM. So when my days at Capital FM, we used to meet a lot. And he is one of those professional or cameramen that we were told to switch off their cameras. And so I've got him on the line, and I want to just have a conversation with him to find out what Ushaka Famba say. Okay, I saw in your Facebook post that you were restricted in filming Jah Prayzah at the aquatic complex. Can you tell me a bit about what transpired on the night?
It was on the 27th, I think, 27th of October. It was on a Friday last week. I attended a show that was happening at the aquatic complex in Chitungwiza. The reason why I attend these shows, personally, this is me personally, I'm a content creator, I create content, I love entertainment, and I've always done it. I've been doing this for the past 15 years. Anyway, I attended this concert, and for the first time, there's so many artists. There was Jah Prayzah, there was Baba Shero, there was Enzo Aishal, there was Felinandi, there was Holy Ten, etc., etc. But I attended this show just to get content. Largely for me, I totally enjoy it, and I believe I can improve my craft by creating content. So anyway, I was here. Everything went pretty well. The show was good. I had no complaints about it. The only issue that happened was at some point in the night when Jah Prayzah was about to perform, we were told that we couldn't shoot his performance. And what was unfortunate about this, particularly for me, is the way it was structured. The concert was like outside the aquatic complex for those who were braaiing and so forth. There was also a big screen that was showing what was happening on stage. So there were cameras that were also connected in the hall that allowed people who had already paid for the gig to also watch the show if they were outside eating or whatever they were doing, drinking, you name it. So these cameras were also unfortunately instructed to be switched off. So the screen at the outside was not showing anything during Jah Prayzah's show. You could only hear the sound. For me, before I even get into what I felt personally, actually, that's pretty much what happened. We were told that if you had a professional camera of any sorts, you were not allowed to shoot any of Jah Prayzah's content, and they had scouts walking around in the auditorium so that people would not shoot. That's pretty much what happened.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much. So what do you think is the reason why Jah and his team decided on such a course? As a journalist and a media business owner yourself, what is your aim when you go out to shoot Zimbabwean artists? Is your plan for profit or what?
Why do I think it was the reason? For me, there could be a lot of reasons. Now, look, I'm a technical guy. In fact, I'm a content creator, and I understand the digital space very, very well. I've been doing this for 15 years before people even started doing it, and I make a living out of it. So why did Jah Prayzah do this? At an international level, people own rights to content, so you find that you cannot just go to an event and take that content. So I think Jah Prayzah and his team, whether it's him or his team or his management, whoever, are basically doing this to control the rights to their content, because at the end of the day, content is money, or can be money if you know how to play around with it. So I think that's the main reason why I would imagine that they're doing that, or are going to continue doing that, because it's not the only show I hear. I understand that he's doing this across all of his shows. And why do I go to these shows to get content? Personally, there are two things to it. I'm passionate about what I do. I don't do this for money. First of all, let's get that out of the way. I don't do this for money. I enjoy music. I love going out to entertainment and all these shows, and I like creating reels and content out of this. And just like I said, to get this out of the way, I have never made a cent out of it. I have got no intentions of making money directly from it. I believe where I make money out of content creation is totally divorced from saying that I got content at the Jah Prayzah show and I put it on YouTube and I made money out of it. Personally, how I spin, how I make money off content is this type of content attracts the clients that I'm looking for, and the clients that I work with who are willing to pay me money to do the things that I do. And the only way I can showcase what I do is to get content. So I get content for that. I'm passionate about it, and it gives me practice. And that's what I do. I create 30-second 1-minute reels out of this content. So in reality, this is just content I create.
Do you think for his brand, Jah Prayzah is shooting himself in the foot?
Kind of. Like I said, it's a give and take. It's a give and take scenario. Yes, there will be that odd person who will come up, or some international guy who understands this type of business and will come up and say, hey, I'm willing to pay you X amount of thousands to take some shots on your show. Yes, there will be those people, and they will pay good money when they do. But how often that's going to happen, I will bet my bottom dollar it won't happen very often. So the flip side of it is he lets people create, like myself, create content, put it out there and so forth. There is no direct monetary gain from the immediate onset of it. But I do believe that the benefits of having that content out there, and the international community, the local community, everybody in this whole African community, seeing what you are capable of doing, translates to a whole lot more money. I bet he doesn't even know it, but I will bet my bottom dollar also that some shows he's gotten outside of the country is because of content creators like myself. You cannot directly relate it and say, hey, there was footage out there that someone saw A, B, and C and decided, this is a good performance. But promoters out there that are scouting the internet and just looking for people to bring to their countries and so forth, they get that kind of footage from creators like myself, not from cell phone footage. And unless and maybe he does, I really don't know this, unless if he's got a very active content creation team that is out there getting all his shows and putting those reels out there. And I don't see much, personally. I don't see much. I'm sure they collect it, I'm sure they do it for the bigger picture in the future. But I don't see it online. What I see is stuff that people like myself create, and I'm more like, wow, that was a good show. He put on the show there. And so I don't know, for his brand, it's his choice. It's his choice. We all make mistakes. We all make things, and I'm pretty sure this is advice that even if I give it, he's not likely to take it, because at the end of the day, who am I? Who am I? I'm just another content creator out there, and chances are people to see it as if I'm a disgruntled person is quite high. But for me, I'm a very objective person, and I understand what I do, and I understand who I've done it for, and the people that have benefited out of it, and how to spin the third world's, particularly Zimbabwe situation. And I don't think it works well for his brand. But then again, who am I to say?
Now, it's very interesting, very interesting. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been commissioned by an artist to shoot a performance before? Do you think that it is something that they should do often as artists in Zimbabwe?
Actually, I have. I've done it for a lot of artists. In fact, most recently at the Castle Bride Day, I was commissioned to shoot Dadza D for his performance there. In fact, he commissions me pretty often. I've not only done for him, I've done for a whole lot of other artists locally as well. It's not something that I do personally. I think it's just people who have seen the content that I put out there and think there's value in it for them. So I've been commissioned to do that kind of stuff. But I'm largely a documentary creator. That's what I do, and I love documenting things. So in the bigger scheme of things, with all the content I've collected right around throughout the years, my aim is always to tell Zimbabwe's story. And Zimbabwe's story is not necessarily about Jah Prayzah himself. If he wants to exclude himself out of it, it's all good. It's just how I see the entertainment space at a Zimbabwean place. So this is why I collect this footage. That's my bigger aim. And like I said, it's a passion. I don't make money out of it. I make money out of documentary making. And so this is just one of those things that I do in my pastime.
All right. Michael Simbarasha Mushunje. He owns a business called Loud 5. He does filming and creates content for artists. You know, he makes a business out of it. And he was one of the professional cameras that were asked to switch off during a show at Jah Prayzah's event, or Jah Prayzah concert at the Aquatic Complex. So much to unpack from there. I wish Mike had a lot of time, but here's what I would really love to hear from you. What do you think about Jah Prayzah's stance, and taking into consideration all the things that I have mentioned in the podcast today, the ability to let journalists and professional camera people, professional media people, to shoot and collect footage and to collect, because it's all part of history, right? Their ability, what do you think about Jah Prayzah's comment, right? What do you think about the media's involvement in this aspect of collecting professional footage for your brand and for your for your music? What do you think it does to everything that surrounds your brand? Because you know what, this is free publicity. Why would you ban free publicity and stuff like that? And what can we do as Zimbabwean artists? What can Zimbabwean artists do to make sure that you are pinda pa level rakafana nana Pena Boy, Rana Rema, Rana Wizkid, do you know what I mean? Rana Black Coffee. What can we do? Because if I don't go in, I'm going to perform to my whole, to my events, to my areas, to digi, but none has ever reached that, that level. Yakafana na yo, yana Black Coffee, yana Wizkid, and etc. etc. What can Zimbabwean artists do? Do you think publicity plays a part in making sure that they blow up to be very, very big artists, or is it also going to by having as many and as many shows out there? I would like to really hear your thoughts on everything that we have covered on the podcast today. Like I said, it's not as long as because you know what, we really wanted just to gaga, and of course time was not on our side. But thank you so much, guys, for listening to this podcast, and I hope you can join me again next time as we discover and as we go through a lot of the things that will be happening within our entertainment zone in Zimbabwe. My name is Joe Mars, and until we meet again, goodbye. You are listening to the Joe Mars Podcast, a podcast inspired by musical creatives from and within Zimbabwe, Africa, and the world, who are making an impact and pursuing their passions. My name is Joseph Maramba, and I'm a radio host best known for shows on Capital FM, Power FM, and Sport FM radio. And I'm sitting down with creatives to learn more on their story and how they are making an impact with every single production.